I buried logs in a raised bed a few years ago, and at the time it seemed like a great idea. It's supposed to save money, hold moisture, and turn into great soil over time. But here's the problem. In last Saturday's video about filling raised beds, a lot of you brought this up, and the comments were completely split. Some of you said it worked great, others said your beds sank every year and you had to keep adding soil. So instead of guessing, let's break down what actually happens when you do this and whether it's something you should even be doing in the first place. Now, here's something I've seen with this topic. Most of the advice you see online about this is very surface level, but it skips over the part that actually matters, how this behaves over time, because gardening isn't just about what works in the first month or even the first season. It's about what happens in year 2, year 3, year 4, and that's where a lot of these ideas start to fall apart. So first, let's define what we're even talking about. This method, burying logs, branches, and wood at the bottom of a bed, is called Hugelkultur. And traditionally, this wasn't even meant for raised beds. It was used to build up large amounts of soil over buried wood, usually on slopes or in areas where holding moisture was a challenge. The idea is the wood absorbs water like a sponge, and it slowly releases that moisture back into the soil and eventually breaks down into organic matter. So on paper, it looks good. It looks like you're getting 3 big benefits. You save money on soil, you improve water retention, and you build better soil over time. And that's why this idea spread so quickly, because it feels like a shortcut. But here's what I've learned, and honestly, what your comments confirmed. This doesn't just work or not work. It depends entirely on how it's used. And I think this is important to understand too. When something works for someone even once, they tend to stick with it. If you've had a really good first season, you're going to feel like you made the right decision. And you might have for that situation. But that doesn't always mean it's the best long-term approach. And it doesn't mean it's going to work the same way for someone else. And that's where gardening advice gets tricky, because people start to share what worked without always understanding why it worked. The biggest mistake people make is they treat that wood layer like it's soil, and it's not. Your plants are not growing in that wood. They're growing in the soil above it. So the moment you put wood at the bottom of your bed, you're reducing the amount of that actual growing space that you have. And roots need depth, especially for crops like tomatoes and peppers and carrots and potatoes. Those roots want to go down. And if they hit a layer that they can't easily move through, they don't just magically push through it. What actually happens when roots hit that wood layer? A lot of people assume roots are just going to kind of grow into the wood and start pulling water out of it. But that's not how it works. Roots don't grow into solid wood. What they tend to do instead is they grow down until they hit that layer, and then they start spreading sideways. So instead of getting a deep root system, you end up with a shallower one. And that has consequences because deeper roots handle heat better. They handle drought better, and they give you more stable plants. So if you're limiting that depth, you're limiting the plant. Now, another piece of this that doesn't get talked about much is where the water actually is, because you'll hear that the wood acts like a sponge, and that's true, but the water is being held down in that wood layer. So the question is, are your roots actually getting to it, especially early on? Most of your roots are going to be in the soil layer above. So even if there is moisture being stored down there, your plants might not be accessing it the way you expect. And that's why some people don't see the benefit they were hoping for. Now let's talk about the biggest issue, and this came up over and over in the comments: settling. This happens for a couple of reasons. Early on, it happens because it's almost impossible to fill in all the spaces between all of the logs and the branches and the sticks. And all of those little crevices add up. And over that first season, water is going to help all of those crevices get filled up from the soil above. So you're going to find your whole bed starts to sink. That first year in my bed, I lost 5 or 6 inches of soil because of this. The second reason for settling is when you bury wood, it doesn't stay the same size. It breaks down. And when it breaks down, it shrinks. So what happens? Your soil level drops and there's no way around it. And a lot of you said exactly that. Your beds dropped several inches. You had to keep topping them off. It saved money at first, but not over time because that wood is decomposing, especially in a warm, irrigated, raised bed environment. So instead of filling your bed once, you're filling it again and again and again, sometimes every single year. And now that cheap solution doesn't look so cheap anymore. In a true Hugelkultur method in the ground, there's no bed frame to show you how much it's settling. And really, in a true Hugelkultur method in the ground, it doesn't really matter how much it settles. Keeping the same height isn't the goal. Now, another thing to think about is how uneven this breakdown can be, because not all wood decomposes at the same rate. Smaller material obviously breaks down faster, and larger logs can take years. So what you end up with is a bed that isn't settling evenly. Some areas collapse faster while other areas stay solid longer. And that can create inconsistency in your soil. Different moisture levels, different density, different root behavior, just, depending on where you plant. And then there's another piece to this that almost nobody talks about, and that's nitrogen. When wood starts breaking down, microbes go to work on it, but in order to break down that carbon-heavy material, they need nitrogen. So what happens? They pull nitrogen from the surrounding soil, and that means for a period of time, your plants can be competing with microbes for nutrients. Now, this doesn't last forever, but if you're using a lot of fresh or smaller material, you can absolutely see slower growth early on. You might even get some yellowing in your plants. And that's why you'll hear people say, add blood meal, add nitrogen. They're trying to get ahead of that nitrogen draw. And again, that can work, but you're adding more inputs. Now let's talk about the part that gets people into this in the first place, and that is saving money, because that's the big selling point here. Fill the bottom with wood, use less soil, save money. And up front, that's true. You can cut your soil cost significantly until you factor in the future. If your bed settles 4 to 6 inches, you're buying soil again next season, and maybe the season after that. So instead of paying once, you're paying multiple times, and usually at a higher price each year. And this is the part that really changed for me. It's not just the cost of the soil, it's the work. Because every time that bed settles, you're not just dumping soil in. You're hauling it, leveling it, reworking the surface, and sometimes fixing uneven areas. And if you've got multiple beds, that adds up fast. So it's not just a financial decision, it's a time and effort decision also. Now, to be fair, a lot of you said this worked great, and you're not wrong. It can work, but usually for specific reasons. Number one, if you have deep beds. If your beds are 24 inches, 30 inches, or even taller, you can afford to give up some space to wood. You still have enough soil for roots. Number two, you're okay with the maintenance. If you're already adding compost every year, the settling may not bother you. You're just topping it off anyway. Or number three, you're basically composting in place. Some of you are turning your beds into long-term compost systems, and that works, but it's not really the original purpose. Now, I want to address something I saw a bit in the comments. People saying you should have used smaller sticks or run it through a chipper first. Use wood chips instead of logs. And here's the important distinction. That's actually a different method. Traditional Hugelkultur uses larger pieces of wood, logs, branches, because the whole point is the slow breakdown over time. When you chip up everything into small pieces, now you're not really doing Hugelkultur anymore. You're just adding organic matter, you're composting in place, which can be great, but it behaves completely differently. Small material breaks down fast, it can temporarily tie up that nitrogen like we talked about, and it doesn't give you long-term structure. So let's make this really practical. Scenario one, if you have 12-inch beds, don't do this. You don't have enough soil to give up. Scenario two, a 17-inch bed, you could do it, but you're still limiting root depth, and personally, I wouldn't. Scenario three, a 30-inch bed or taller. Now it starts to make sense. You've got room for both wood and soil. And then scenario 4, hot, dry climates, water retention becomes more valuable. So that might tip the scale in favor of using this method. So really what this comes down to is you have to decide what you want out of your beds. Do you want something that's low maintenance, predictable? Do you want something that's consistent? Or are you okay with adjusting over time, adding material and managing those changes, because both approaches can work. They just lead to very different experiences. So if I was starting from scratch today, which I am, and I wanted the best results with the least amount of maintenance, I'd focus on getting the soil right from the beginning. And if you want to see how I'm doing this step by step, check out our second channel, The Gardens at Sky Ridge, where at the moment, I'm rebuilding our vegetable garden with all new raised beds. And if you want to know how to save money filling your beds, check out last Saturday's video right here, and I'll see you guys next time.